Welcome to Expand Your Empire, the podcast where women stop deferring wealth and start building financial power. I'm Amanda Taylor, investor, strategist, and disruptor of outdated money rules. It's time to own your worth, grow your assets, and build a legacy that lasts. Hey guys, welcome back to Expand Your Empire. I started this podcast for several reasons, and we're just getting into it. We're just getting to know each other. So I'm kind of dumping everything that I want to talk about in a general way on these first few episodes so we can get to know each other and we could talk. And something that is fueling all of this, I wanted to explore more with you, with my audience, and even with myself as I'm figuring it all out. So this whole thing is a journey for me, with you, and we're in it together. And I would love some feedback on this because it's something so new to me. And I'm amazed, every day at the stuff that I'm still learning. I am 47 years old and I'm learning new things about myself, about the world, just being exposed to different things and people and experiences. And that's what makes life worth living. And I wanted to share some of my evolution. And it's been a long time in the works, but it certainly fueled this podcast, my community, my passion, and my mission for Expand Your Empire. So let's talk about feminism. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to explore because feminism is a word that can really light people up or it can shut them down. But what does it really mean to you? And I've had to explore what it means to me. So let's talk about it. Honestly, I didn't really pay attention to what the word feminism meant until 2016. I thought of it as a 60s bra-burning movement of some kind. I had zero concept of feminism outside of that connotation. Bra-burning feminist. That was my experience. And I didn't even experience it. That's just what I thought. And I grew up in Texas. I did not grow up in what I thought at the time a super patriarchal place. It was just Texas. And so that's just the way things were. So having never even heard the word patriarchy, I remember in 2016, we're now in 2025, this has been 9 years, I can't believe it. Hearing the word patriarchy during, the preceding election, I had to look it up. I didn't know what the word meant. And at the time, I was married. And the person to whom I was married did not support that the patriarchy was a thing, that females were in any way disempowered. That person did not believe that there was a gender pay gap and could quote to me all the facts and statistics of why he believed that he was right. And so at the time, I just said, oh, okay, I guess you are right. And that goes back to me giving away a lot of my thought power, but we'll talk about that in many other episodes. So for a long time, part of the Evangelical Christian Church. And about that same time, and I didn't even get into that until I was 23 or 24. I just wasn't raised that way. But around the time of 2016 and into 2020, I started to see the world differently, starting with that moment and hearing the word and then starting, it's like when you say, I want to buy a black Audi Q5, guess what I'm seeing everywhere I go? So I hear the word patriarchy, I look it up, and guess what I'm seeing everywhere I look? and I'm seeing notes of it and hints of it. And I'm looking back at my own history and just seeing how I have been part of it. And so, the role that I was taught to play, the language that just shaped my identity, and the silent agreements around power and submission that I would never admit were that, but I just accepted that role. And so I got into this slow burn of awareness and disenchantment. And I'm not saying that's the only thing that led to the divorce, but it's a big part of it. Me finding my own voice and my own power and thinking, this is not okay with how the world is acting and how I have been acting as a part of it. I knew that I had to take self-responsibility for my role in it. And I started seeking spirituality outside of that place. So I had to start asking myself, can you be feminine and a feminist? I didn't know, is there a difference? What does that look like? And is advocating for women the same thing as being a feminist? What is being a feminist? And these are questions, honestly, that I'm still asking myself because I am now and have been for the last few years a strong advocate for women in business, for women in money, for women in everything, in choice, in values, in investing, all the things, because I have looked at it and I have seen the gaps and I've seen the history and I've looked into it. And now my eyes are so clearly open to it. I can't not see it and I can't not do anything about it. And I always feel like I have to excuse myself and say, well, no, please understand, I'm not a male bashing feminist. I think I say that all the time when I'm presenting or speaking or talking, as if I'm like trying to like make sure everybody knows I'm not one of them. But what is one of them? I don't even know what that means. So maybe this is just my therapy session and you guys are here to listen to me. So what if you never realized how deeply the system shaped you? And then what happens when you do and when it all comes out? And how do you relate to the world from that place? I would love to hear more stories about that. And we're going to start that conversation inside of our Expand Your Empire community, because if you're anything like me, it's just who you were. It's just what you did. And you didn't know it had a name, and you didn't know that it could be different. And it doesn't mean that you're a male bashing feminist. I started to operate from a new framework. And having left the evangelical church and decided that I could be the greatest Bible nerd. And then I get into it and I'm like, patriarchy. Okay, now I know what this means. I'm seeing everything through a different lens. I'm having a really hard time with this. So I had to step away. And I had to reevaluate what that meant to me. What does my spiritual life look like? What does my faith look like? And I've gone on my own journey. I think I've talked about it in previous episodes. If I haven't, I'll say it now, and we will really dive into it within the community and in other episodes. But I am an advocate, proponent, student of human design. And that really, truly gave me a new language and mirrors to view myself. And you talk about feminism and being feminine, but I started to see how my own masculine energy had become, even in my work for women, the ruler. So I started studying feminine archetypes. And is this different from feminism? So I'm having to learn receptivity. I'm having to learn what softness looks like, what trust looks like, different kinds of magnetism, because I considered myself a very powerful type A, structured, routine person. And operating from that place was giving me the dreaded burnout that everybody's talking about right now. And that's when I had my aha moments, my logic, my, coming from that place of do instead of be really showed me the imbalance within myself. I felt it energetically. So, what does this have to do with wealth? This podcast isn't just about money. It's about power. And money is one of the loudest expressions of power we've ever been taught to hand over. Wealth requires voice and visibility and boundaries and knowing who you are. Talking about balancing those energies and not abandoning the masculine, but integrating the feminine. That's me. That's my story. That's my journey. I know plenty of other people that I've worked with, that I've talked to, that I'm in groups with, that are complete opposite. Okay? Feminine power doesn't compete with masculine structure. It completes it. And that is what I'm learning. And that is what I am trying to create within myself and within this community. So are we redefining feminism? Or maybe I'm just redefining it for myself. Are you redefining it for you? So for me, feminism is about choice. It's about voice, about claiming your life as your own, about rising without asking for permission, and about remembering that supporting other women isn't just a belief, it is a practice. So it all goes back to the bigger picture of Expand Your Empire. I am building an army of women who know who they are and what they are here for. So I've had to learn that feminism, it isn't politics, or it isn't just politics. It's a lived experience, and wealth is a feminist act. Owning land, charging what you're worth, saying no, taking time off, having choices. That is what it looks like for me. So I want to know. I want these conversations with you. I want to create this. I don't want to be talking to myself here. So come join us. The Expand Your Empire community is for women who are for women and who want to have a voice, to have a choice. Okay? So I want to know, what did you learn about power growing up? What dynamics were there in your family? What did you see, even if you weren't directly told? And when did you first feel that stir of your own voice? I was in my 40s. In my 40s. And where are you still outsourcing your decisions or your knowing and asking for permission? Feminism, it isn't a label. It is a lived reclamation. And I am here to learn about it, to experience it, and to embody it so that others can come along with me. And I hope you're with me too. So thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you inside of our community. We are growing, we are adding, we are building that army, and I want you in there with us. The world is changing, and we are going to be the leaders in that world, and we are going to own our voices while we're doing it. So until next time, keep building, and I'll see you then. If this lit something up, share it, review it, and get in the room. Join the Expand Your Empire community and start turning wisdom into wealth. You're not too late, and you're not doing this alone.